I've been waiting for you, rookie. Oh, worried about the girl, is that it? That's just like you. You always had poor judgment.
Jack Krauser is one of the most imposing men that Leon Kennedy will face during the events of the game Resident Evil 4. A jaded veteran with years of combat experience under his belt, Krauser's life would revolve around this dedication to service, his storied career marking him as one of the most elite soldiers that the US military had to offer. And while accounts of the events of his life would vary, eventually it would be this service that would push him into the open arms of a man named Osmund Saddler.
Salazar had his chance. Krauser, go get the girl. Oh, and dispose of this swine while you're at it.
Consider it done.
The story of Jack Krauser has been clouded by the fog of time. But as we know it today, it would begin with his service in the United States Army. During his tenure with the forces, Krauser would prove himself quite the capable man, rising through the ranks and eventually landing the title of Major. In fact, he would prove so adept in combat situations that he would be asked to teach rising recruits in the field of close quarters combat. One of these recruits being a man named Leon S. Kennedy, who would join a secretive government program after his involvement in the Raccoon City incident. Kennedy would spark interest in Krauser, but teaching was never really his passion. He was a man of action, so in 2002, when he would be offered the opportunity to be the commanding officer on a covert mission called Operation Javier, he would heartily accept. Due to the mission's secretive nature, however, few details of its purpose would emerge. One account saying that it was an excursion into South America to capture a rogue Umbrella employee who was selling bioweapons to a local warlord. Another account making only mentions of eradicating drug cartels, but regardless of the true intentions, the mission would quickly go sideways after Krauser and his team would make landfall. According to an investigative journalist covering the incident, Krauser's team would be wiped out during the mission. The specific details of how remain a mystery, but what is crystal clear is that after their landing, the US completely severed communications and left them in the field to perish in the ensuing conflict. Against all odds, however, Major Krauser alone survived, the abandonment opening up a deep resentment toward the government that he'd given his entire life to.
Being a lackey for these maniacs won't bring your men back. And what the hell for? Revenge on the government? You think they would want that?
Revenge.
This betrayal would create a new sense of purpose within the mind of this bereaved soldier. He was angry at the US, of course, but he was equally angry with himself. He was supposed to protect these men. They were under his supervision, and on his watch, they'd all fallen. It was clear to him that the only thing that truly mattered in this world was power. Yet, despite all the years of experience he'd attained, all of the hardships he'd bested, when he'd been face to face with the sheer force of these BOWs, it was apparent that he was nowhere near the apex predator. In his search to reclaim his seat atop the predatory pyramid, Krauser would hear rumblings of a cult in Europe. Following the rumors, he would discover the Los Illuminados, and seeing their potential to turn him into the beast he wished to be, he would join their ranks. To seemingly prove his loyalty, the leader of the cult, Osmund Saddler, would task Krauser with capturing the president's daughter, who was integral to his plans to infiltrate the US government. With no more allegiances to his home country, Krauser would gladly perform this job perfectly, retrieving the girl and bringing her back to the village. For his efforts, Saddler would award Krauser with his true prize, a dominant species plaga, and would station him on his personal island, a member of his trusted elite. However, before the former Major could truly settle into his new role, a man from his past would come knocking. Leon S. Kennedy, the rookie he'd trained all those years ago, had come to Europe in search of the president's missing daughter. And around the same time, a highly regarded scientist for the cult, Louis Serra, would abscond with a piece of Saddler's sacred amber. Furious with Sarah, the cult leader would order Krauser to retrieve the sample, a mission that would eventually put him into direct conflict with his former student.
Long time no see, rookie.
Major Krauser? What the hell? Why?
Recovering stolen goods. And killing a few rats along the way.
Krauser would succeed in retrieving the amber and disposing of Sarah, but would fail to take out his former protege. Despite this, the mission was successful, and as a bonus he would return Ashley to the island for safekeeping, leaving another cult bigwig, Ramon Salazar, to dispose of Leon. Unfortunately for Krauser, however, Salazar would prove himself incapable of incapacitating his well-trained understudy, and as Leon found his way onto the island in search of Ashley, the task would once again be his to bear. Jack Krauser is one of the most complicated men that Leon Kennedy will meet during his adventures in Europe. A respected former soldier who not only successfully completed many missions for his country, but also trained the next generation, only to be cast out and left to die for all his glory. Such a deep betrayal causing him to despise his former flag, and also to doubt his own ability. Operation Javier would completely contort the world that Major Krauser had come to know, and as he tried to rationalize this incredible life pivot point in his mind, it would eventually lead him down a path that there was no coming back from.
You're too soft to do what's necessary. That's the difference between you and me, rookie.